Hey folks, I want to thank you guys for tuning in here today. Basically, I want to talk a little bit about a gun scenario that I ended up having some success with this fall. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this and use the whiteboard here to walk you through kind of the scenario is this is a repeat stand location, right? I ended up killing a really good old gun buck there last year, and I did it again this year. And you know, when you have those repeat patterns of success, you have to start paying attention to, okay, why is this happening, right? And I want to put this out here for you guys so you can kind of overlap and understand how I'm applying this situation and how I'm having success so you could potentially do it as well. But first and foremost, let's take a look at this guy, huh? This is my 2024 gun buck. Not the biggest deer I've ever killed, not the highest scoring deer I ever killed, but it ended up being a last morning of gun season, a pretty far shot through the timber. I didn't make a great shot. I ended up recovering him the following week. The neighbor was awesome and ended up helping me get my tag on this deer, but couldn't be happier. It was one of those deer that I never seen. Didn't have him on camera, but really happy with my 2024 gun buck. And like I said, that one right back there, same spot, same scenario. Last day, that one was a last evening. This one was a last morning. So pretty cool scenario there. But basically, I want to explain this to you guys. This is a big hillside, and it lays out for multiple hundred yards long, right? It's a long hillside, and it's steep. And roughly 10 years ago, we had some logging done in there. So the whole thing across the whole thing, it's really thick. And now this is a really nasty point that we ended up putting a blind on last year. Now that was just a temporary pop-up blind on an elevated platform because we just wanted to see what would happen. And boom, I killed that one. So we're like, okay, we got to put something a little bit more permanent in here. So we ended up making a homemade box blind. And it was not easy. It's in a very intrusive location when it comes to trying to build something, right? It's hard to get in there. It's steep, it's nasty, and there's rocks, and it's just not a fun place to work. But the reason we have that blind there is it's one of those situations you can overlook a very intrusive area. This area down here is where I killed my bow buck as well. I can overlook that, but I don't have to go nearly, and I don't have to be nearly as intrusive getting in there because I can just pop up right on this knob and I can watch in there, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm hunting the same deer, but because I have a rifle in my hands, because I do have that firearm, the longer shooting ability, I can hunt this same area, but do it much safer, right? So that's why I love this spot. But basically what we've got here is our blind is in the top quarter of that hillside. So we're not super far in, but we're far enough in that we can see over that knob. And what this is it's like a rock shelf. There's a bunch of big rocks where the soil has eroded over time. And being it's so steep there that you're getting a lot of washouts. And these rocks have just kind of carved themselves out there, and it's a steep break there. And so it's straight down, but these deer bed right below it. And now they've done that for many years now. They've bedded right below that because they can protect their backside with that steep shelf. Nothing's going to jump off that shelf and attack them because it's a 25-foot drop, right? But on top of that, that shelters me for my entrance, right? They're positioned below me, and they're never going to be able to see up and see me get into that blind because I'm protected by that steep rock shelf. And so it's a perfect entrance and exit situation, but it's also perfect for the deer because their backside's protected. So they already want a bed there, and what I went ahead and did after I killed that big gun buck last year, I went in there and I made this better by dropping some maple, dropping some of the less desirable trees in there to try to promote some regeneration. And I wanted more bedding cover. It was a little bit open. It's still a good position topography wise, and it's got some daytime browse, but I wanted to increase that side cover. I wanted to increase the daytime browse so I could potentially hold more deer within this area and make it more desirable for a bigger, older buck to shift into here. So we've got improving an already good bedding area, and we've got a natural pinch point because this is the edge of a hayfield in the bottom. So we've got a nasty, natural barrier here. These deer are not going to go straight up that rock shelf, and they're not necessarily all the time, especially during gun season, they're not going to want to cross that wide open field. They're not going to want to bail that way. They're going to stay pretty skinny through here, and especially now that I have good daytime browse and I have good bedding cover in there, they're going to stay skinny through here. So this is a natural, I would say, a roughly 80 to 100 yard stretch of really good habitat and a really good natural funnel. And I just improved it by doing some TSI work and increasing some of the forage and some of the cover in there to make it even more desirable for those deer. And so my stand that I call the chute that I killed my bow buck out of, that's just positioned right over here. So it's the same situation. It's the same scenario. It's that really good natural funnel, that pinch point. It's necking deer down. And when you're bow hunting, that's what you need. You need to have an area that you can get these deer within range, or at least close to within range, so you could potentially call them in or get an opportunity. But like I said, with that rifle, you have a little bit more distance. You have a little bit more leeway when it comes to not having to go as far in. And that's exactly this situation that we've got going on here. It's perfect. We have a really good bow hunting funnel that I have to go deeper in there. But at the same time, if I'm playing it smart and I'm waiting for the right conditions and I'm playing my wind smart and I'm only going in when it's perfect, I can get away with it, even having to go in a couple 100 yards and being in a pretty intrusive location. But here, during the gun season, I can get away with hunting a non-intrusive location, overlooking a very intrusive location, and finding success, and it's been proven year over year here. So this is the scenario that played out. I wanted to walk you guys through that. If you have anything similar to this, anytime that you have one of those really, really good neck downs for a bow, I love hunting those with a gun as well. It's still going to be the same deer coming through there. And especially depending on when your gun season is taking place, you're still going to have flurries of that rut activity. That second rut might be coming around. Depending on the dates of your gun season, that's still a really good area to hunt. Those very intrusive, good rut funnels, those bedding areas, anywhere these deer are going to be gravitating towards because they are feeling pressure now. And that's exactly what this is. These deer are going right here, and they're finding that bedding area because you can't get to them, right? Like if I would go over here, I would blow out multiple deer, a dozen at least, because there's no way to get at these deer without busting them out. This is how I'm finding that success during the gun season. That's how I'm finding it during the bow season in that specific spot. But when I'm hunting the gun season, I'm trying to find the most intrusive locations that I know of with a bow that's hard to get to, but it's always rocking. And I'm trying to find an area that I can overlook that from a non-intrusive position. That's the whole beauty of the gun season. You don't have to get 20 yards away. You got to get about 180 yards or in. That's at least for me. If I'm shooting through the timber 180 yards, it's about the max if I got a decent shot. So that's what I'm looking for. Beautiful scenario that played out. Wanted to show you guys that I had a little bit of success. I hope you guys had some good luck here. We got a bunch of snow dumped on us last night. So if any of you guys are doing some late season archery here in Wisconsin or anywhere in the Midwest, those deer are really going to be gravitating towards food now, especially when you get that stressor of snow, that cold. If you get any of those and you have good food sources, good bedding areas, good daytime browse, you can guarantee you're going to see a lot of deer late season.